New Dallas Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer were going to win the championship. The Dallas Cowboys held a news conference Monday to introduce head coach Brian Schottenheimer. Schottenheimer has been the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys.
The last 2 years, the 51-year-old has never served as a head coach at any level. Texas, the Dallas Cowboys introduced new head coach Brian Schottenheimer at a news conference on Monday morning. Schottenheimer was joined by Cowboys owner and general
manager Jerry Jones and executive vice president Stephen Jones for the announcement. Schottenheimer has spent the last 3 years in Dallas. He was hired in 2022 as a coaching analyst before being promoted to offensive coordinator for the last 2 seasons. He has not been a head coach at any level. His hiring was announced on Friday night shortly before 9 p.m. after the two sides came to terms on a deal. "I am honored and privileged to be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys," Schottenheimer said. Schottenheimer says he got emotional upon hearing the news and thought about his father, NFL coaching legend Marty Schottenheimer. "I'm going to get a chance to get what Daddy didn't get a Super Bowl," Schottenheimer told his mother after finding out he would be Dallas' new head coach. The first one will be for him. The 51-year-old also talked about his strong relationship with Dak Prescott and how they push each other to be better. Jerry and Stephen Jones both spoke highly of Mike McCarthy's time as coach during the news conference, but said it was time for a change. Jerry pushed back against critics who said the hire was playing it safe. "I get my proverbial ass kicked about needing people in my comfort zone. If you don't think I can operate out of my comfort zone, you're so wrong. This is as big a risk as you could take. No head coaching experience," said Jones. Jones says he still dreams about playing in big games and says that Schottenheimer is the right man for the job. "This is the best way for us to get to the playoffs and win it," said Jones. When Schottenheimer was asked about how he wants to be remembered in Dallas, he first said it was as a champion. Then he talked about his desire to build the best culture. "In the NFL, I'm good at X's and O's, I'm great with people," Schottenheimer said. Ultimately, the new coach said the team's Super Bowl drought will come to an end. "We're going to win, and we're going to win the championship," said Schottenheimer. Otherwise, why are we doing it? Press conference timeline 12:13 p.m. "We're going to win, and we're going to win the championship," said Schottenheimer. Otherwise, why are we doing it? 12:11 p.m. Schottenheimer says that he wants to be remembered as a champion and someone who created one of the greatest cultures in NFL history. 12:06 p.m. "I'm dreaming of the Cowboys playing in a game like I saw last night," said Jones. "I want that." 12:03 p.m. "We wanted Brian to call the plays," Jerry Jones says. 12:00 p.m. Schottenheimer says he wanted to be the youngest head coach in NFL history in college. "It's been a long time coming, but it is here," he said. 11:57 a.m. Jerry tells a story about owning a dirty Ford Bronco when he first bought the Cowboys. He says it is an example not being able to have it all due to the salary cap. He says the team has to do a better job with the cap. 11:54 a.m. Stephen Jones talks about taking care of core needs in free agency so they can take the best player available in the draft. 11:52 a.m. Schottenheimer says that fans should look to his Seahawks days to see how he plans to change the offense. Schottenheimer also talked about the importance of the run game and increasing the tempo of the offense. 11:50 a.m. "Dak and I know how to push each other's buttons," said Schottenheimer. "The competitor in him is special. He says that he loves and respects Prescott and that they see the game similarly." 11:49 a.m. "This is the best way that we can go to the playoffs and win," said Jerry Jones. 11:45 a.m. "When I got the news, I couldn't speak," Schottenheimer said. He says he then thought about his father's face. 11:44 a.m. Schottenheimer calls, "Finding out he got the job was humbling." He says his story is a great lesson in persistence for other coaches. 11:42 a.m. "We want continuity, but we also want change," says Stephen Jones while also complimenting Mike McCarthy. 11:41 a.m. "I like our shot with Shotty," Jerry says. 11:38 a.m. "There is going to be pressure until we get the job done," Stephen Jones says. 11:36 a.m. Stephen Jones says there needs to be improvements made. 11:34 a.m. Schottenheimer continues to focus on his ability to work with people. 11:33 a.m. Jones says there will be change, but they will use some of the things that were in place in the McCarthy era. 11:30 a.m. Jerry says that Mike McCarthy left some good stuff in Dallas, but it was time for a change. Jones says one of the reasons for the change was because there was a potential for a Schottenheimer hire. 11:29 a.m. "I'm really good with X's and O's, but I'm great with people," Schottenheimer says. He says his ability to work with people is one of his biggest strengths. 11:28 a.m. The second question is about how this process helps move them closer to the Super Bowl. 11:26 a.m. "This was a thorough process," said Jones. 11:23 a.m. Jones says that he is criticized for not getting out of his comfort zone. "This is as big a risk as you can take," he said. 11:22 a.m. "I know that Shotty is no stranger to these guys. I know he's no stranger to this building," Jerry says. 11:19 a.m. Jerry jokes that he wanted to be a coach but wanted to drive a nicer car. He says if he would have known what coaches would eventually make, I would have been a damn coach. 11:18 a.m. The questions are underway. Jerry Jones is first asked about why he decided to hire Schottenheimer. 11:16 a.m. Schottenheimer gets teary-eyed while talking about his father, late NFL coaching legend Marty Schottenheimer. He'd say, "Brian, the easy part is over. It's time to get to work," he said. 11:14 a.m. The 51-year-old head coach says that he had turned down previous opportunities because he didn't feel he was ready. "I'm ready now," Schottenheimer said. 11:12 a.m. "To our players, you are the core of this program, and we will focus on you every day," Schottenheimer says as he addresses the players who attended the news conference. The new head coach says their attendance means the world to him. 11:10 a.m. "I am honored and privileged to be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys," Schottenheimer says. 11:09 a.m. Schottenheimer is introduced to applause at the news conference, with Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones on either side of him. Brian Schottenheimer named Cowboys head coach. Brian Schottenheimer and the Dallas Cowboys agreed to terms on Friday to become the 10th head coach in team history. Schottenheimer has never served as a head coach in his career. Brian Schottenheimer is known as a career assistant, Jones told ESPN's Adam Schefter. "He ain't Brian no more. He is now known as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys." Schottenheimer, 51, is the son of coaching legend Marty Schottenheimer, who hired former head coach Mike McCarthy for his first job in the NFL. The new head coach deal is reported to be a 4-year deal, which matches up with the contracts of quarterback Dak Prescott and wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. Schottenheimer was just one of the candidates who the Cowboys brought in for an interview. Philadelphia Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, former New York Jets head coach Robert Saleh, and Seattle Seahawks assistant head coach Leslie Frazier also interviewed for the job. Both Moore and Schottenheimer had previous experience with the Cowboys, but the team says it was Schottenheimer who boasted the much lengthier resume of overall coaching experience between the two, though, despite having not called plays in Dallas during the McCarthy era. Brian Schottenheimer coaching. History. The backstory: Schottenheimer began his coaching career in 1997 as an assistant coach for the St. Louis Rams. He has spent time with several NFL and college teams since, but has never been a head coach. St. Louis Rams assistant, 1997's Kansas City Chiefs. Assistant, 1998 Syracuse. Wide receivers coach, 1999 USC. Tight ends coach, 2000 Washington Redskins. Quarterbacks coach, 2001. San Diego Chargers quarterbacks coach, 2002-2005 New York. Jets offensive coordinator, 2006-2001 LST. Louis Rams offensive coordinator, 2012-2014 Georgia. Offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, 2015 Indianapolis Colts quarterbacks coach, 2016-2017 Seattle Seahawks. Offensive coordinator, 2018-2020 Jacksonville Jaguars. Passing game coordinator, 2021 Dallas. Cowboys coaching analyst, 2022 Dallas. Cowboys offensive coordinator, 2023-2024 Dallas. Cowboys coaching staff. The Dallas Cowboys have started to interview candidates for offensive and defensive coordinators. Offense: the Dallas Cowboys reportedly requested an interview with Atlanta Falcons tight ends coach Kevin Koger for the offensive coordinator position. Defense: it was reported on Friday that former Chicago Bears head coach Matt Eberflus is a frontrunner for the defensive coordinator position. Reports say the Cowboys requested permission to interview Miami Dolphins assistant coach Ryan Crow and interviewed Bears safeties coach Andre Curtis for the defensive coordinator position. Curtis is thought to also be a candidate for Dallas defensive backs coach.